Hey everyone, it's Matt here. Welcome back to another episode of Savant's Tech Talk. So you have an interview coming up, or maybe you're sending out your resumes and just getting a head start preparing to be interviewed. Don't be nervous. We have 9 tips to help you nail it. And with these 9 tips, you'll surely crack the interview. And tip number 9 is a very important one that people tend to forget. As always, if you have any questions as you watch this video, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoy this video or find it helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. So let's jump into it. So let's start before the interview even takes place, looking at the resume. The resume is where you have a chance to give an overview of yourself to the interviewer. Many people make mistakes here, and these are some of the key resume points that you need to keep in mind to get a head start in cracking that interview. The first thing you need to keep in mind is your resume should be short. A 1 or 2 page resume is ideal. If you have many years of experience that's worth mentioning, you can maybe up it to 3 pages max. Experience, projects, and technical skills are the most important things. So if you have multiple pages, make sure to add those things on the first page, ideally near the top. Another common mistake a lot of people make is using an unprofessional email address. Don't use your old high school email address, fireskull22@hotmail.ca. Use something that's clean and professional, ideally with your first and last name. Also, when writing your resume, remember, you're a software engineer. Stop writing Microsoft Word as your technical skill. That is not a technical skill. Also, keep in mind, you can create your resume based on the company. You can have different resumes for different companies. Tip number 2 is to actually research the company. When you're applying for a job, it's important to know about the company that you're applying for. If you know everything about the company, you can give relevant answers to the interviewer. For example, if you know that the company has a lot of hotels as clients and your final year project was a hotel management system, then you can use this as an advantage. When they ask, "Why are you a good fit for our company?" you can simply add your reference here. You could simply say, "My final year project was on the hotel management system, and since you have mostly hotel clients, I'm a perfect fit for the job." Just by finding a relevant bit of information from your experience that relates to the job can really put you ahead of other people who are applying for the position. The next tip is to remove irrelevant skills and technologies from your resume. So let's say, for example, you're applying for a job as a back-end developer. It's always good to mention that you're good at front-end technologies as well. However, if you have Photoshop and Illustrator as your technical skills, you might want to remove those. Or you can at least push it to the end. Remember, when you're talking to the interviewer, it's best to keep the topics and your skills as relevant to the company as possible. It's also a good idea to keep this in mind when you're ranking your resume as well. Keep all of the relevant skills and information near the top on the first page. Keep in mind, a software engineering interview could be about many possible technologies. It won't be fair if we just say that you should go and learn Python for an interview, for example. Instead, what you'll have to do is learn algorithm-based problems, data structure, or make sure your object-oriented programming system, or OOPS, concepts are clear. Again, this will depend on the technology that you're applying for. You should have a clear understanding of the basics and the fundamentals. It doesn't matter whether you're applying for Python or you want to work as a React Native developer. If you're applying for a small company, there's a good chance that they might not have enough employees to handle all of the things. In this case, you can surely tell them about your other technical skills. Who knows, they might even hire you for the dual post and with a higher salary. It's always good to grab the opportunity. During an interview, you want to be honest and positive. In an interview, you should never lie, but you also don't want to paint yourself in a negative light. So make sure you have a diplomatic yet honest attitude for tricky questions. If the interviewer asks, "Why were you fired from your last job?" you don't want to say something like, "Because I hit my boss. Because I just didn't like his face." That's not going to paint you in the best light. An important part of the interview process is introducing yourself. In most cases, the first question will be, "Introduce yourself." Here you should always say things that are not on your resume. Maybe you can tell them a small story about how you landed onto their company. Make sure the introduce yourself part is between 1 to 2 minutes. You don't want to drag on for too long. If you can tell from the interviewer's face that they're feeling bored, you can also change the topic. This section needs to be relevant to the job role, and it should also be interesting. Always remember that your discipline will define you. Before the interviewer asks you a question, the first thing they will notice is whether you arrived on time or not. If you're asked to wait somewhere, just sit there and be patient. Don't do anything ridiculous. You never know who might be watching you. This also applies to a virtual interview. If you show up late to a virtual interview, that looks even worse. Before we get into tip number 9, which is one a lot of people tend to forget, we're going to cover one more, and that is to ask questions. At the end of the interview, the interviewer will ask you whether you have any questions or not. You should always ask a question. If you don't know what to ask, you can always ask, "What will my job responsibilities be?" or something along those lines. This will surely help you with the interview selection process because it shows that you're interested in the position. Now for tip number 9. As we mentioned at the beginning, this is one a lot of people tend to forget, and it's very important. Just relax. Don't worry, it's an interview, and they're not gonna hurt you. Be relaxed, but be prepared. You can also see the interview selection process of that particular company before you go to the interview. You can read the reviews about the interviews and try and find common questions. Glassdoor is a website where you can find all of these things. You can do your research before you go there. Also, if you're actually going to a physical location for the interview, always have a pen. So there we have it. 9 tips to help you with your interview, starting from the resume to researching the company, avoiding irrelevant skills and technologies, understanding the fundamentals, being honest but positive, introducing yourself, arriving on time and conducting yourself professionally, asking questions, and just relax. As always, if you still have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Thank you for watching.